This is once again a bit of a review section. These topics of perimeter area and volume are considered prerequisite to the class, but not everybody's really fresh on these. So I want you to take a minute and fill in the definitions that I'm going to put here for perimeter area and volume. And you can also use the index of your book to find and fill in all those definitions. And then I have some sample problems for you to work on out of the book, which push you a little bit beyond the basics. And then I have a few basic examples here in the notes, along with some formulas. So why don't you go ahead and pause the video, go look up some of the definitions or fill in the definitions I provide in a moment. So I have the definitions listed here. And let's look at some examples. So we have a rectangle here where I have filled in the dimensions of the rectangle as 2 inches and 3 inches. And since it's a rectangle, that also gives me the values of the opposite sides. So therefore, each of these little boxes is 1 inch by 1 inch. Now to find the perimeter, I simply add up all of the sides. And there are formulas for these, but the concept of perimeter is very straightforward. You add up all the side lengths. For area, I'm actually counting how many of these little rectangles do we have. So if I have 1 square inch is one of these little red rectangles, how many are there total? And of course, in this picture, you can count them, but typically what we end up doing is developing formulas for these. And for a rectangle, the area is length times width, which is going to be 2 times 3. And you can see that that does give me my answer of 6. The units for these are square inches because it's 6 of those little squares. Now for volume, we're looking at three-dimensional space, and it's a little harder to see why there are 125 little cubes in here. But the idea here is that I'm still measuring how many cubes it takes to fill up the space. You can see how we end up with cubic inches also in how we multiply 5 inches times 5 inches times 5 inches. So we'll find that there are 125 and then inches times inches times inches. A lot of people say inches cubed. Technically, we usually like to say 125 cubic inches. So this area is typically measured in square units. So like 6 square inches is how we say that. And volume is typically measured in cubic units. On the next page, you're going to find a list of the common formulas.